already familiar that how our digestive system absorbs nutrients and how our respiratory system supplies oxygen to the lungs. But indeed, these nutrients are not only required by the digestive system, and this oxygen is not only required by the lungs. This oxygen and these nutrients are indeed needed by all the cells of the body. And during different processes undergoing inside our body, different wastes are also produced. And these wastes must be transported to those organs from where they can be excreted. For this, supply of oxygen and nutrients to cells and for removal of wastage, a system is needed, and that system is called circulatory system. This system is basically made up of blood vessels and heart. In today's class, we will focus on blood. If somebody asks you about blood, you may say that it is a red colored liquid. Yes, it is a liquid and it has different parts. The fluid part of the blood is called plasma. Inside this plasma, different kinds of cells are suspended. And so we may say that blood is a liquid with different cells suspended in a fluid called plasma flowing in blood vessels. And this kind of circulatory system in which the blood flows in blood vessels is called closed circulatory system. You may be surprised to know that in all the animals the blood does not flow in blood vessels. For example, in insects the blood does not flow in blood vessels, and in those insects the kind of circulatory system is called open circulatory system. Now coming to the cells of blood. Red blood cells are one of the cells of blood, and these red blood cells are red due to the presence of a pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an iron containing protein. It means it is made up of two parts. Heme represents the iron and globin represents the protein. Now coming to the function of hemoglobin. So it is clear that hemoglobin provides red color to the red blood cells, but it is not the main function of hemoglobin. The main function of hemoglobin is that it binds with oxygen and transmits it to all the cells of the body. So now let's see how it transports oxygen to different cells of the body. As you all know that oxygen reaches to the lungs as a process of breathing, and inside the lungs there is more concentration of oxygen. Blood, which contains the hemoglobin, combines with oxygen inside the lungs and forms oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin travels through the blood vessels and reaches the tissues or cells. Inside the tissues, what happens? This oxyhemoglobin breaks into oxygen and hemoglobin, and this oxygen is supplied to the cells. In this way, hemoglobin helps in transport of oxygen. And one more interesting thing you may find out from this, because one of the component of hemoglobin is iron. If a person is suffering from the deficiency of iron, that person may be suffering from anemia. Anemia, which is the deficiency of blood. And in an anemic person, there can be a lack of energy. The person with anemia may feel tiredness because oxygen is not transported properly to different cells of the body. If the cells are not getting oxygen, the process of respiration is not taking place and energy is not being produced. So the person with a lack of iron may suffer from anemia, and that may lead to tiredness. So in that case, the person must take a diet rich in iron. For example, the person must take the green leafy vegetables, beetroot and other things in which iron is found. Now coming to the white blood cells. These white blood cells are the defenders of the body, and they fight against germs like bacteria and viruses which may enter our body. So this is the white blood cells. These white blood cells kills the germs like bacteria and viruses. So when you are suffering from an infection, your white blood cells count increases. It means the number of white blood cells increases during an infection so that they may kill the germs and fights off the infection. Now coming to the platelets. Yeah, these are the small cells of the body which help in clotting of blood. You might have noticed that if sometimes you get a cut, what happens? Blood comes out. But do you notice that the blood keeps on flowing? No. You notice that after some time the blood is clotted. And this clotting of blood is helped by platelets. Platelets are the components of blood which helps in clotting of blood. And in certain diseases like dengue, the count of platelet decreases. And if count of platelet decreases, it's a cause of concern, because a person in which the platelet count is low, what happens? If blood starts to flow, it will keep on flowing, and there can be a major loss of blood, leading to a decrease in blood pressure, and it can be fatal. So all these components of blood must be regulated through a proper diet. Now, coming to the functions of blood. So you may see these are the red blood cells helping in the transport of oxygen. These are the white blood cells helps in killing germs, and these are the platelets which helps to clot blood. So if we summarize the functions of blood, one of the functions of blood is to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide between the lungs and rest of the body. Indeed, blood not only carries oxygen but also transports carbon dioxide. This hemoglobin also combines with carbon dioxide to form carboxyhemoglobin and transports it from tissues to the lungs. Apart from this, the plasma of the blood plays a major role in transport of carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs. It means functions of blood include the transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the lungs and rest of the body. Now, nutrients. Yes, as I already told you, the absorbed nutrients from the digestive tract are carried by the blood and supplied to different cells of the body. So one of the functions of blood is to transport nutrients from the digestive tract to all the cells of the body. And definitely due to the presence of white blood cells, these blood cells prevent us from infections. So this is all about today's class. Thank you.